Hi, thank you for joining me for today's process video, and today is another day in 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life Series 16. Day 22 sketch has been provided by Hollie Fiercely, which I'll pop in the top left hand corner there. Now, I just want to explain, I did lose a little bit of footage on this video while I was recording. It's just about to cut out now. So I grabbed this wave stencil from Simple Stories and blended it down the left-hand side. I then spent some time stamping. This is where I'd lost it. Stamping with Hey Little Magpie directional stamps. You can see the little circles on the left-hand side and also the arrows and chevrons going up and down the left as well. I then took the Bumpy Borders die and cut that from a scrap of 49 and Market. I think it was a Serenity paper. And then I cut another border, the notebook edge border, from another piece of 49 and Market paper and layered those down on the left hand side. I'm working with Vicki Boutin and her travel collection, and also 49 and Market Summer Porch. I had to think about what it was called. So this is from the Vicki Boutin Where To Next travel collection, and so is that blue strip of paper that I tore and popped down on the left hand side. It's not the full 12 inches. You can see I've just cut about an inch off and positioned it just to the right of the stamping that I did, and then, like I say, I added those border dies and then some tickets from 49 and Market. So now I'm matting my 4 photos onto this lovely stripy paper, and you can probably tell from the sketch I'm using the left hand side, but I've rotated it through 90 degrees so that I've got my title on the left hand side and that lovely big strip on the left hand side. And I'm going to build up the little embellishment cluster that's at the bottom there. So I started with another Hey Little Magpie die. This is the travel set, and I'm just adding this compass to the bottom there, once again cut from a 49 and Market paper. These papers work so well with dies because they're fairly almost like a solid, but they're not a solid, so they just work really nicely to cut dies out of. And then I'm just positioning my photos there in the more or less in the middle of the page. So these photos are from our recent cruise. It was our last night, our last meal, and I wanted pictures of all of us, but honestly, look at that picture of Ross. He always pulls a stupid face and he just looks so fed up, but I thought, I don't care, I'm using it anyway. So it's on the page. So I grabbed some bits and pieces before I started recording, just from my drawers, and I found these foam stickers from one of the Nest Box kits that we did earlier this year, and that one says "Adventures Fill Your Soul," and I just thought that was perfect for a holiday picture. I've then added a black ampersand, once again die cut using the ampersand sets from Hey Little Magpie, and then this little piece that says "Escape." I went through my scrap papers and found this on a Heidi swap. I think it was Sun Chaser was the collection, and I just thought that would work really nice as a little embellishment, so I just cut that out and added that to the left hand cluster there. So I'm just going to glue these pieces down and then carry on working on the rest of the page. So while I'm doing that, don't forget to check out the description box down below to see everybody else who's playing along on this hop. It's a fabulous hop. Double pages all month. I don't do double pages, so I'm just choosing one side of the page and doing that. So really, you've got 60 sketches there if you did that. So you can see I've pulled out some ephemera pieces in that lovely little tray that's from Hey Little Magpie, printed by my son, JD 3D Print. And I've just pulled out bits from the Summer Porch collection from 49 and Market that I think I might want to use on this page. So this little circular piece is from that collection, and I'm just adding my journaling there. Didn't need too much journaling, so just a little bit just to say what the picture was about. And then another lovely label going behind it. You've seen I've added some word strips as well. This red one says "The Sea is Calling," which is very appropriate for a cruise, so I wanted to pop that down there. And I've also got one that says "The Joys in the Journey" underneath that, "Adventures Fill Your Soul." I do love word phrases around a page. They really add something beautiful there. So this stamp is from that same Ticket Essentials from 49 and Market that I got the tickets from. So just tucking that down just to add a little bit of interest. And then I've got this summer die cut piece as my title. My title is actually going to be Summer Cruise, but I've just popped that to the left there just to make a start. So I'm just messing around. I had this half circle that I punched from one of the Vicki Boutin papery pieces. Then I just wanted to add that down at the bottom to continue with the circular elements that I've got going on. And then then I'm going to look to see what else I've got in my little tray. Decide to pull out the Vicki Boutin ephemera pieces, but don't really find anything in there. So I'm going to add a little ribbon loop to the right of that title. I think about putting it in that cluster, but it ends up going just to the right of that foam sticker. And I just like the texture that brings to the page. And then I'm going to come in with some rub-ons. These are old 49er Market rub-ons that I've got in a folder that's sitting on my desk, and I'm trying to make a concerted effort to reach for those rather than doing my own mixed media. And I watched somebody's video the other day, and I'm so sorry, I can't remember who it was, but they were just rubbing these on with their fingernail. So I thought, rather than grabbing for the tool, I'm going to give that a go. And actually it worked out really well. So if you're stuck, just use your fingernail to rub these down, and that works really well. So you can see I'm just snipping bits off just to add them around the page. There's not a great deal of room to add a huge amount, but I just wanted to add them in this bottom right hand corner. So the last piece there is going to go underneath that ribbon bit. And they just add a nice little bit of texture to your page and a bit of interest. There we go. So now I'm going to come back in with one of my stamps from the directional stamp set from Hey Little Magpie and just stamp some of these arrows. Now I used black soot. That was a mistake on top of the rub-ons because they've got a slight sheen to them, almost like a plasticky feel. I smudged this. I should have used my archive link. So you'll see as I go through, I rub it with the edge of my hand and start smudging it. So I do come back in and stamp over it with my archive link. The stamps that I've added to the bottom of the page, the bottom middle are absolutely fine because they weren't over that plasticky sort of feel. So they worked really nicely. But this little stamp is great for adding a bit of texture to your page. So just going around and adding that in various spots. And then trimming off one of my tags that I punched. We're using my EK Success tab punch, and I'm going to pop that down. And then I brought in this other stamp, which is just diagonal lines. And again, I'm going to use my black soot and just stamp that at the bottom of the tag. It's just bringing a little bit of interest in there. So I'll just lift up that paper on the left just so that I can get it right the way across the tag. There we go. And I love how that looks. So now using my roller date stamp just to add the date, as I always do, and my archive link. Just snip that out. You can see I've got some new scissors. I've got the Tim Holtz shears. They're brilliant, really nice long blade, slightly serrated so that they cut clean through things. So there's the date at the top there, and now I can work on the title. So I've pulled out these American Crafts foam thickers, and I'm just going to spell out the word cruise. So just turn the layout around so that it's easier to get these straight. And I decided to put the word cruise down so that then I could add the summer title above it and make sure that it was central. So that's a great tip if you were doing a double word title. The piece that's a full piece, if you're using a piece that's like this, like a die cut, add that second and then you can make sure that it's central. So there we go. I'm just going to glue that down. Just using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I just love this glue. And it's just slightly overlapping those tickets and just bringing everything together and filling in that gap that I had on the left-hand side. Now I wanted something at the top of the page for height, and I found this in the Papery pack, this lovely tag. So I just trimmed off the excess that would have been tucked behind the photos, and I'm just popping that tag top behind there. I am going to ruffle up the edges afterwards just so that it shows, but I decided to bring in that same stripy ribbon that I used at the bottom for the loop to fill in the tag hole at the top. Just gluing that tab back in place, and this is the ribbon I was talking about. So just add a little bit of that, and I'm going to staple it with my tiny attacher just to hold it in place there. So not a lot of space at the top of the page, so I'm just making sure that it's short enough so that it doesn't come out the top of my album. I know some people don't mind that, but I prefer not to have things poking out of the page protector if I can help it. So there we go, sticking that down, and like I say, just ruffling up these edges roughly, using my fingers just so that you can see it really, because it's white on white, so that just gives it a bit of definition. So this is where I saw that I'd smudged those stamps, so coming back in again with my archive link to go back over those and define those chevrons. And that's the layout done. I hope I've provided some inspiration. I shall see you again soon. Bye.